Good evening, Nerd Fam, and welcome back to surprisingly chilly Atlanta, Georgia. We're here coming to the conclusion of day one of our KubeCon coverage. I am very excited to be bringing you third of our 6 VIP exclusive segments with Google Cloud celebrating a decade of the Google Kubernetes engine, the GKE engine, excuse me there. My name is Savannah Peterson with 3 awesome guests, 2 prior victims, and 1 fabulous new face that I will start with first. Kate, Jago, and Gary, thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
It's always a lot of fun. This is going to be even more fun. I love that we're getting a little bit of a party this time around. Gary, last time we were hanging out, we did not have this many nodes.
Nope.
How many nodes are we at?
130,000.
So I just want to bring this up because it was only a year ago, I still have my sticker here, 65K. They have doubled the number of nodes in 12 months. That's pretty impressive. So what are these nodes doing?
What are these nodes doing? A lot. No, I mean in general, the workloads, typically most people aren't going to go to 130,000 nodes, of course, right? But although more people are starting to creep up on this.
So what types of instances end up at that level? Because that's a ton.
It's usually in the massive training jobs, massive AI jobs, right? That need a lot of compute. Typically with nodes, you can use the entire GPU, right? There's typically a match of a node to a GPU. So you'll end up saying, I need 130,000 GPUs to train whatever these massive models, Anthropic, Gemini, whatever it may be, right? All in sort of parallel. So you need to quickly provision those up. And yeah, I think for us, it was also more than, we keep pushing people to say that we could do more. I think that we do pretty good due diligence on this, and the fact that, we don't want to take 2 years to start them up, right? There's a lot of factors that go in there, right? Can we actually start these up in a good, in timely fashion, right? Scale them down, and can things actually communicate through them, right? So it's not just the same thing of, hey, I ran 130,000 nodes, clap on the back. We actually have to make sure.
What does that actually mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and what does that do for me, and what's the solution?
Can we schedule that, right? Can Kubernetes, the control plane actually know about those nodes as updates are coming, health checks and all of that. So some of the same work that we worked on last year, scaling into etcd, we've now replaced etcd with Spanner internally for sort of massive scale. Because some people don't realize that YAML or JSON is very verbose, we'll put it. And so imagine you have 100.
That is such a generous way of saying that.
So you take 130,000 and you multiply that times, 1K, 3K, whatever, right? You've now got this massive string of records that you have to store. So even small things like that, we've been working super hard on to get this.
And it does challenge a lot of the underlying assumptions. These workloads have 1 pod per node, and if the pod goes down, the whole workload has to stop, and you have to do some
Everybody's waiting in the queue to go do their thing.
And the hardware is super expensive, and you don't want to be down for long, so. This scalability isn't just about the number of nodes, it's also about the number of pods and node pools and all these other aspects
and their
that
dependencies
fit inside
upon each
the
other.
envelope. So,
Definitely.
And even though we did shift to Spanner internally, we still mostly contribute to etcd upstream, and the scalability is through the whole control plane.
30-something thousand nodes, maybe at least.
It really does percolate through the whole ecosystem, this scalability improvements. So.
The reason I started with the nodes is because this is all about scale. So this is a conversation about scale, because we're really achieving, I think, a moment within the Kubernetes community, within the GKE community and open source community, where we're tipping over. It's all at scale. It's hot right now. Everyone's talking about us. We were kind of the transparent nerds who tried to help each other learn for a long time, and now everybody's like, hey, that community kind of figured it out. Kate, you've watched the evolution here a little bit. Did you anticipate that we would be where we are today and the scale of GKE, Kubernetes, and generally just container management?
Yeah, I'd say that the scale is something that is, I wouldn't say that we've been anticipating it, so closely. There's always an element of mystery, right? But yeah, in general, it's knowing that we were going to have to expand the capabilities to allow for inference at this level is something that that I think we've been preparing for. It's great to be in this particular conference center. So I'm local to Atlanta, and I was here for the supercomputing conference.
I was there last year as well.
Amazing. Okay, well, one of the huge takeaways that I had was just all these different sort of like cooling things, and the fact that all of these server solutions we're now trying to find ways to ensure that they were able to run these workloads.
It's one of the great challenges of our time right now. Yeah. I mean, seriously though, access to water, access to space, it matters.
Electricity.
It's like not as sexy, but it's like basic utilities are actually driving a lot. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going, Kate.
Absolutely. No, it's good. I mean, it was just remarkable to me because I went there expecting to see all the the fun sort of quantum chandeliers and things, but instead what I took away, deeply cool. But the fact that I learned that like all these folks who used to be plumbers are now turning their attention to making sure that they can make cooled server doors, right? I mean,
and they're making some coin doing that, man. Liquid cooling is fascinating.
I was so into it. I had no idea. So yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I was a front-end engineer back when I was a practitioner, but I tell you what, the hardware stuff, I mean, that is the coolest part. I mean, for me, that's where the excitement is. So yeah.
So you've kind of been anticipating it, but watching it. And I like that you, even as an analyst, consistently delighted and surprised by some of the cool stuff in our world.
For sure. Yeah, you won't get very far as an analyst unless you're deeply curious and super excitable, I would say. I mean, this is something where, we get to hear about the coolest stuff that's happening in the industry right now and sort of get a sneak peek and get to ask the smartest people questions about it. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, actually, on that note, Jago, could you talk to us a little bit about the announcements, what's going on with Axion? It's been a big year for you guys.
It has been, and I think hardware really has gotten fun again recently.
Yes.
With ARM and all the CPUs are doing interesting, like it kind of
There's ARM inside my glasses right now.
A little bit faster every year, but nothing really groundbreaking for about 20 years in the CPU space, and now we've been working a lot with Intel and NVIDIA and others on using some of the mechanisms in Kubernetes to get much closer to the hardware so that folks can squeeze that last bit of performance out of it.
How do you do that? Talk to me about that.
So the DRA, Dynamic Resource Allocation, has now gone GA, and of course the AI workloads were the real motivating factor. But it inspired a lot of really cool conversations with the SCED-MD folks behind Slurm. And their next round of adopters already run Kubernetes and are now adopting Slurm, but don't want to learn how to run it on VMs or bare metal or how does that all work. And so I've been really pleased with the collaboration with both the SCED-MD folks on Slurm and the AnyScale folks on Ray. And these communities are really working well together. But the HPC world has 20 years of experience doing these very low level interactions with the CPU, and they think it's madness that we just let the Linux scheduler figure out where to put a workload on a node with 300 cores. They're like, that's so cute. Like, why would you? So we've been learning a lot, and it's worked really well. So we've been improving the performance of all of those things on top of Kubernetes, and it's awesome to see.
What are some fun examples of ways in which that will translate into benefit for the world? How are those solutions going to help? What is, I mean, obviously there's costs, but what are some of the other benefits of squeezing out every little inch of that?
I think it's capacity, and capacity chasing is the challenge of our time. It's the electricity, and the more you can shrink and be more efficient, the more workloads you can fit in a data center. So it really is out of necessity, and this necessity is inspiring all kinds of creativity in that space. So we're learning from wherever we can learn from, and it's no longer that a node is a node is a node with more or less CPU or memory. There's all this super specialized hardware, and the end user community sometimes complains about the complexity, but it's a complex space, so we do need to build higher level control for the scheduler and the autoscaler to make use of this new information, and therefore sort of save the end user from some of this complexity. But
it's distributing the complexity.
But it's really in there, and you can't, if you hide it, then you just lose the efficiency. So.
Well, and it's that complexity that allows these solutions to be so customized and to be so on point for whatever the solution is.
Yes, exactly.
Which I think is one of the trickier parts. Gary, we got to kick off the year talking.
Yep.
How has the year played out the way in which you thought it would? What's excited you in between January and now?
Yeah, actually the year has pretty much
I love that you're giving this genuine thought. I can see you. January, February, March.
I'm like, what did I tell you back then? I'm like, I guess I would say I'm not pleasantly surprised, but yeah, most of this stuff. When we last talked, a lot of things that I was sort of excited about were, this sort of next generation of scale, some of the stuff that we were working on, things that were coming in like sort of Kubernetes. So interesting things like in-place pod resizing, right? Vertical pod autoscaling, working with that, right? Improvements that we've made in cluster autoscaling, both in GKE and in sort of open source. And then not related directly to running AI, I think we talked a lot about, I was kind of fascinated with, I thought that we were going to see a lot of AI operations coming soon, right? More agentic AI for running Kubernetes and managing Kubernetes. So I think we've got sort of both those things going on now, right? Like Bobby would probably say we have running AI, right? And running AI on Kubernetes and running Kubernetes with AI. And I think both of those are going extremely well so far this year.
It's been quite the catalyst for the community.
Yeah.
Kubernetes had kind of been going like this, and then I just feel like we've gone like this in terms of adoption, awareness, application. Are you seeing that too, Kate?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I think one of the big takeaways I've had from this conference is absolutely how, we're pairing these technologies and that, using the AI conformance, a lot of these, initiatives are preparing us to be using Kubernetes as part of that workflow to make sure that, we can create AI agents and run these workflows in a way that, makes sense, that has a lot of community support, and that is, going to be performant.
Yeah, absolutely. Jago, what's your favorite thing that's powered by GKE? It's coming to all of you, so don't worry.
Yes, that's a tricky one.
I know you don't have to pick a favorite kit, but you can tell me one of your favorite kits.
I'm not good at not telling people things, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say. I can share that there are a few hundred Google products that run on GKE, and even some that I didn't even realize were running on GKE. So when there's a customer that adopts your product and you don't know until many, many months or years later, and then they suddenly have a feature request.
That's kind of cool. You're like, we powered that?
Yeah, exactly. So I love those surprises, and that's probably my favorite.
I think you're going to see a lot more of that.
And Google is a very demanding customer. I've realized.
Really?
Yeah, it turns out.
We've never worked with them. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? I think we avoided early on trying to get any internal customers for that reason, and now we don't even know, and they adopt it. So that's pretty cool to see.
That is pretty cool. I bet across various businesses of the business. Gary, what about you?
I guess I would say I have two categories of favorites aside for the AI.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty. One thing that AI kind of maybe left, I don't know, from there, we have been talking a lot about, more Kubernetes like in the traditional enterprise, right? And then, AI happened, right? And we sort of went there. But I'd say it has been pretty fascinating that, and now they are sort of coming together, of course, but we see a lot more banks and whatever, and you can see with the references that are now like in earnest using like Kubernetes like at scale. Right, and that's pretty interesting, right? And then even skipping to starting to talk about running agents on there, right? And this next generation. So to me, that's impressive because having worked with them for years through J2EE, I'm that old.
Yeah.
Up till now,
Gary,
is great. And I guess my other favorite one still, I think we can mention it. You guys can edit it out, I guess. If not, there's a customer called like AirAsia. It's still one of my favorites of all time. They run on like autopilot. There's literally like one dude who runs, not the whole airline or whatever, right? But they have just one guy. So I still love the fact that we can run these massively complicated workloads, right? But at the same time, we build something like simple enough for kind of a small team to kind of power their application. So to me, it's kind of, I'm an extremist, as you know, so I like having both of those going.
Yeah, I know. but I like that because when we talk about, in the early Kubernetes days, there's always decreasing complexity. How do we decrease complexity for this, let people do things faster? If one person can manage the heavy lift for an airline, which is wildly complex, ton of sensitive data, obviously some lives at stake, casually, and amongst other things.
To be fair, there's a bigger team, but you get it.
No, but I mean, of course, but that tells you that you've actually achieved that goal, in my opinion. If one person can do that, that means it doesn't take 75 people just to understand what's going on or how a stack is working. It's honestly pretty compelling. All right, my last question, and I would love for all three of you to answer this, is when we are hanging out at KubeCon, either in Amsterdam or in Salt Lake next fall, What do you hope to be able to say then that you can't yet say today? Or in your case, Kate, what are you most excited about or hoping the industry pulls through? So I realize it's a slightly different lens for you, but
Yeah.
Jago, I'm going to start with you.
Millions of accelerators on Kubernetes clusters. I think you were sharing about doubling in the last year. I think the acceleration is real and it is continuous acceleration, and the next milestone is not another incremental improvement, but another order of magnitude. And I think we have the path to get there, and we're pretty close. So
my next sticker is going to be 1 million nodes?
1 million nodes, 2.5 million nodes.
I love this.
That's my next target.
I look forward to when we can play that back and I'm holding the sticker sitting
One
next to
other
you.
one I want to talk
Please.
about, which is we've consistently raised the ceiling. We have not put enough attention on graceful degradation when you hit the ceiling. And these enormous clusters are very much white gloves set up with extreme care. And we're also working hard on sort of the self-service up to 15,000 and beyond, with no one touching, no one knowing, and me being surprised by someone saying, so we're running 25,000 nodes and we had a question, and me being surprised. So that's my other.
I'm really glad you brought that up. It is something people don't talk about enough. All right, we're going to hold you to that. Looking forward to 2.5 million nodes. Kate, what are you hoping to see?
Well, just in terms of Kubernetes, or in terms of like the CNCF, like
whatever your heart sings right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. I've been very interested in the OTel project, so I guess I've been interested in some of their like SIGs in terms of like how they're thinking about like the front end community and things like that. So that's kind of a pet project for me. But yeah, I don't know. I'm always following OTel and seeing where that lands. So yeah, something about the SIG for that, but I know it's a little niche, but
no,
yeah, that's.
Hey, we're all niche nerds here. You're safe.
All right.
Gary, what about you? What are we going to be talking about next year?
I'll go still on the AI, but I'm more on the. I think there's going to be more like agentic. I mean, so what I'd like to see, and again, maybe this hasn't fully come true from our last talk, but I think there's two things. I think that we really can have platform agents. Right, that we start talking about like, platform engineering, really start talking about true platform agents, doing a lot of that work. So I think we'll see a lot of that in the community, hopefully a lot of that coming from us as well. And then I think selfishly on the pure GKE side, I think we're closing in. Lots of open source stuff came out with like, again, the in-pod place resizing, pod snapshotting, all these things that we have. I think that I'd love to be able to say, hey, you deploy this pod, and we literally just figure out how to size it for you and resize it, and you don't do anything, and we just move it around. And we're not like far. We have, like, you could build that kind of yourself today, but I'd love for somebody to just deploy it, and then we could add things like DRA or whatever. Here's what I need.
It can shape shift and do whatever it needs to do to be optimized.
The big problem for people, yeah. I don't know how many resources my pod needs, right? And maybe my app does really well. Like, can you just scale for me? And we have all the building blocks. But I love to like just show like, hey, you can deploy a pod on the show here and we'll just start running some crazy load and see what happens.
I love that.
Maybe we should try that.
I know, I was just going to say, and now we know what we're doing next show, Gary. That's a great idea, actually. I think that could be pretty cool. That would be a neat way to really bring the audience in too. Thank you, three. This has been really fun, as always. I hope that you continue to have a fabulous KubeCon. And I hope all of you are having as much fun as we're having here in Atlanta, Georgia at KubeCon. My name is Savannah Peterson. You're watching theCUBE, the leading source for enterprise tech news.